Yeah. MD. JPB. It's only right, baby.
Yeah. Why you mad? I got a bad bro. Name hot in these streets, no Tabasco. But I'm so stuck, that's a fact, yo. And if you think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo. Go on, run it back.
You know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this. Damn, it's gonna be a long night.
Hello guys, what is up? It is me, Prince of What Ifs, and I am back here with another video. Today I am doing, again, What If Luffy Was Bond's Reincarnation, Part 4. I'm still working on what if Asta was the reincarnation of Zoro, or Zoro's reincarnation. Either one goes. I'm about to finish it though. First part will be awesome. I don't want to keep Asta in the same way he was in the story and just have him be OP before going to the magic exams. He's going to have his own path. You know, he's going to be doing his own thing. He's going to have his own purpose other than being the Wizard King. And I'm trying to figure that out and trying to change the world so it can fit his new role. So, yeah, I will be posting it soon. And I hope you guys enjoy this one. I think it's about like 20 to 30 minutes long. Yeah, let's go. So, we last started off with Vivi and the gang going to Alabasta. And on the way, Nami got sick, so they had to stop by the Drum Kingdom. There, Luffy would meet Chopper, but before that, he and his crew did meet and beat up Wappo, and this made these pirates leave and actually go become actual pirates. And then Chopper would join the crew as his doctor, and on the way onto Alabasta, Nami would receive her climb attack, and Chopper would be making special medicine. When Luffy arrives at Alabasta, he meets Smoker again and his brother Ace, and then they leave for Yuba together, with Ace staying as a straw hat for a bit. And when they made it to Yuba, Luffy had a plan when he revealed, you know, all of Crocodile's actions with the transponder, and then he beats the living hell out of him and destroys his casino, and then he gets arrested. Then the Straw Hats leave and go meet with Whitebeard, and after arriving and being tested by Whitebeard, Whitebeard trusts Luffy a bit more and then lets him help him. But Luffy does way more than help, and he gives Whitebeard some of his life force, making him regain a lot of power due to Chopper's concoction, which Luffy then later, you know, put a bit of his blood in. So Whitebeard was no longer sick, and he also had regained his youth. The two captains would then fight as an alliance is made. We then cut to Impel down as Marine Admirals will be discussing the matter of Monkey D. Luffy. In the conference room would be Garp, Sengoku, Sakazuki, Fujitora, Zephyr, Tokikage, Gion, Kuzan, and Kizaru. Sakazuki would then say, "So it finally happened, an alliance. Straw Hat has definitely been on the move lately," Kizaru would say. "If we gave him the title of a warlord, he probably wouldn't bat an eye. I told that brat to become a Marine, and look at what happened," Garp would yell. Fujitora would then say, "What matters most is we talk about his abilities." A Marine soldier then comes in handing them slips, and from what they can gather, Luffy is a force to be reckoned with. His abilities include the use of Haki, and the same goes for his entire crew now, and he's a rubber man and has exhibited the ability to regenerate even when at death's door. He has an incredible amount of strength and was cited doing a lot of stuff. By the way, the government doesn't know yet that Luffy has beaten Whitebeard, but they think he's around the same level he is. And they're kind of wrong, but they'll find out later. And he is practically invulnerable, and they know that he has made Whitebeard younger, which kind of gives them a new idea of his abilities, but they're not really sure. He's practically invulnerable to most attacks, and from how many Marines they've sent after him, it's concluded that he has trained himself to withstand the effects of Sea Stone and is not affected by the sea despite being a Devil Fruit user. Kuzan would then say, "This is your fault for letting things escalate so far," and within the span of that time, Shanks has also gotten stronger, regaining his arm. That was definitely planned by Straw Hat. Sengoku would then say, with all these factors included, his bounty definitely has to increase. He's too much of a national threat, and the same goes for Shanks and Whitebeard. We should limit his proximity to other strong pirates. We're easy right now. Gion would then say he's reached the island of Jaya. Now, right now, the Straw Hats would land, and they land at Jaya, and as soon as they're already, you know, on the island, they're being recognized as they walk through the city. And Luffy is more focused on the piece of paper that Ace gave him, the Weaver Car, a piece of fabric attached to one's life force. It sounds like something we had back in my day. Nami would then say, "Luffy, I know we made an alliance with Whitebeard and things are going great, but a lot of people have their eyes on us." Luffy then smiles, patting her on the head, saying, "Don't worry, just don't fight." Luffy then smiles, patting her on the head, saying, "Don't worry, just don't fight, guys. If we get in trouble, it's gonna make it harder for us to reach Skypiea, but if you spot Teach, kick his ass." That's the guy who betrayed Whitebeard, right? Zoro would say. He must have a lot of balls, especially now that you made him go back to full strength. Anyway, when they arrive, Nami, Zoro, and Luffy and Robin will go and find a hotel to stay at, and since they're an alliance, they naturally share some treasure and are pretty loaded right now. However, as they're going, Robin disappears out of nowhere, but right now, not everyone is invested in her enough to give a fuck, but Luffy, of course, cares a lot, and they'll find her later, but, you know, they hope that she's safe. Now, finding a place called the Topical Hotel, they start heading for it, but are stopped by the owner, who says that the place is being bought out by Bellamy, only to then stop in his tracks when he recognizes who Luffy is. Whatever you want is fine with me, sir, as he puts on his business smile. But as the owner says this, someone walks up with the girl at his side. Big Knife would be this person, as he says, "Who's this little kid?" "I'm 17, you bozo," Luffy would say. "Pretty cocky, aren't you?" Now, since he's taller and bigger than Luffy, he couldn't really see his face, and that is until Luffy lifted up his hat, releasing his Conqueror's Haki out of annoyance. This knocks out the Bellamy pirate, and his companion just runs away. By the way, Luffy didn't mean to. He has some control over his powers, but not that much. Haki is very bizarre to him, so he's still trying to learn it. In the end, they don't even stay at the hotel, and instead use their money to go to a tavern, and Luffy and his friends will be eating when everyone starts to notice who they are, and they start kind of mumbling about them. Luffy then slams down a plate, telling the owner that this food is the best, but then Teach, who was right next to him, said that it sucked. This is when the two will lock eyes, and the owner of the tavern pleads with Luffy not to fight. But since Luffy doesn't know that that is Teach, he doesn't know what Teach looks like. He doesn't do anything. But Teach knows who he is, but he still doesn't give a damn because Teach is honestly a psycho. You know he's a psycho. Luffy then says, "Let's go," and they start to leave. But when he's about to leave, he comes face to face with Bellamy. Oh shit, it's Bellamy. "So you're a Straw Hat. What did you do to my first mate? You poisoned him, didn't you?" Luffy, however, ignores him, walking past him as Nami and Zoro follow behind. Now, as he does this, Bellamy gets mad, thinking that this guy is just a poser. When Luffy is out in the street, Zoro would then look back and appear by his side, holding his sword up to angry Bellamy's neck. "What exactly are you trying to do with my captain?" "So this is how it is, Straw Hat," Bellamy would say. "You can't fight your own battles?" Bellamy's crew would have just found him, telling him to calm down or he's gonna die. And he would say that this guy is the real Straw Hat. His bounty even rose to 1.9 billion berries. Hearing this would shock the crew, as Zoro would also be called out by the crewmates, saying that he had now a bounty as 103 million, and Nami had 5 million. "About time," Luffy would say. Bellamy would then break away from his subordinates, saying that he can't lose to a fraud when he is a talented young rookie with 55 million berries on his head. Now, he gets close using his spring fruit, and he increases his speed as he proceeds not to hit Luffy, but just hit a wall and ricochet all around. He starts going so fast that he can't be seen anymore. He then goes for Luffy, only to then be caught by the neck, shocking everyone as Luffy then smacks Bellamy, popping out a tooth of his. And this is when Bellamy realizes how badly he messed up and that this is the true Straw Hat. As he slowly loses consciousness, not to Conqueror's Haki, but just because of Luffy's intense bloodlust. "Anybody else want to try me?" says Luffy as he then drops Bellamy, and everyone then runs away as the pirates go back to their ship. "What now, Captain?" Robin would ask, and Zoro is suspicious since she legit just came out of fucking nowhere when they sat down, but Luffy calls him down saying, "Well, you're the archaeologist, don't you know any routes leading to the Sky Island?" Luffy would then be told the story of Nolan by Robin, as it is her only point of reference, and he is saddened by the story, but he believes that there is a Sky Island. After all, my best friend was a demon. Anything is possible, he would think. He then sails off with his crew, and they arrive at an island where they meet a descendant of Nolan, but they don't know that yet. Now, after trying to fight them, because he thought that they were attacking him, this descendant would pass out due to his sickness, so the crew takes him inside his home, and Chopper would treat him. While they're doing that, two people resembling monkeys come in thinking that their brother was, under attack, but then everything is explained and they understand, and it turns out that the three people was actually kind of a small group of pirates. And soon when they find out that this guy's a descendant of Nolan, Luffy would ask where the Sky Island is, and he wants to go there. They're given a book which says they need to get an object called the Waver and attach it to their ship so they can use it to reach the sky, so the pirates decide to help. The man named Mont Blanc Cricket says that there is a special cloud that completely blocks the sun, and when it arrives, it doesn't rain or just do anything. It's just there, like, it's weird. If the Sky Island exists, it's definitely on that cloud. He then proposes to use the knock-up stream, but it is dangerous. But Zoro says, well, when Luffy decides to do something, he's not going to back down, so what do we need? Quicker than last, seeing the Straw Hats are the most crazy bunch of people he's met, and he and his brothers attach wings to their ship, which helps them with the knock-up stream. And as their brothers are about to leave, leaving Mont Blanc, behind, and they're about to leave with the crew, they're about to leave, because before dawn, because that's the only time they can use the knock-up stream. Luffy would say, don't worry, I know for a fact the island exists. I'll prove it does. Just watch me. After making this promise, they then head out, and Hours pass, and soon the sea becomes more violent, and a whirlpool is created with their lock posts pointing to the cloud Cricket spoke of. They manage to survive until the whirlpool disappears, and then the cloud darkens as it starts to show a hole, and then water just shoots up, sending their ship into the air. "Oh god, no, never mind, I want to go back down," Usopp would yell. "It's a bit too late for that," Sanji would say, as Luffy then tells Robin to anchor everyone to the ship using her devil fruit, and she does, and then they get higher and higher, and the pressure is immense. It's just crushing. The water that has been, shooting them up is making it hard to breathe before, they even, get close to the cloud. And when they look down, they are so high in the sky that it is just unbelievable. And the ship landed with a bumpy ride, and everyone just had a bit of a, how do I say this? It's a weird experience to shoot up into the sky and you can barely breathe, but somehow they are alive. It's like they have multiple jet lags, and when Luffy gets up, he sees that they were now on a cloud and were in a fucking sea of clouds, and it was beautiful as he would then smile. I can't believe we're actually here. I wonder if we'll ever meet Elizabeth in a place like this. Everyone that looks outside to see the land made out of clouds are in awe as they actually are on a cloud and not sinking. I can't believe it actually exists, says Chopper. Usopp then takes the chance to be brave and jumps down into a cloud, but Luffy says he's gonna only go down there with some safety precautions, and Luffy holds onto his leg as he goes down, and soon after a bit of silence, Luffy will feel a bit of a tug and pull him back on the ship, with him now panicking, as an octopus then comes from the clouds, and Zoro said he would take care of this. He swings and cuts the fish to multiple pieces, but it pops like a balloon instead of a normal, octopus. After taking care of this is when everyone also notices a skyfish on board, and Robin inspects it, letting everyone know what she speculates it is. And now with all this chaos going on, all of a sudden everyone's eyes go red except for Robin as they see a man running on the clouds and he's heading for them as an explosion would then be heard, and they also see a ship and the man jumps on their boat. "Who wants to take care of this one?" Luffy would say. Chopper then steps up using armament hockey to wrap around his hands as he goes into his more humanoid form and breaks the man, which turns out to be a machine. However, after doing this, Chopper loses his form and he's having trouble breathing since they're so high up, and they see a man above them flying on a bird. Well, a horse bird, like a Pegasus. And Sky Knight would say, "I'm guessing you're not from around here." As they wonder who this is, he introduces himself and clearly wants to help, and he is known as the Sky Knight. And is actually surprised that one of the people from down there are up here, and that they actually took down one of those machines, and he says that it will be hard for them to fight since they're literally in the clouds and normal people just aren't used to the intense altitude. "Don't worry," Luffy would say, "we'll be fine, but what is that thing? You must be bluffing. You are from the sea below, yes?" Everyone then says yes, and he can't believe what they're saying, and he thinks they're lying, but he just finds it, kind of strange, and it's just bizarre. Nami then asks some questions about the area, and actually, they find out that there's a currency on this place, which is kind of a problem because they don't have that currency. The knight then offers his services, but they say they're fine as, like Luffy said, they're already adjusting to the altitude, and they're pretty, they're pretty smart. And they would ask him about a nearby place they could go, and he points them to Heaven's Gate, and they need to pay a certain toll to enter, but, they're pretty fine, they can work out something. When they get to Heaven's Gate, they meet an old woman who asks for 1 billion in their currency, and this surprises them, but the lady also said they could still just go up. "However, I would like to know your intentions." "Oh, we're just here to explore," Luffy would say, and the lady takes this to heart and actually lets them go up and lands them a creature called the Speedy Shrimp, and it carries them up the pillar at Heaven's Gate. However, little did they know, this did not count as legal passage, and they were now set for divine judgment. So soon they actually make it to Skypiea and find themselves on a beach. The shrimp leaves and they get off their ship, hurrying to the shore in excitement. And to make sure the ship doesn't leave, Luffy pulls it to shore with his devil fruit ability, and then they meet Coney, a girl who was playing a harp, and they also meet her fox, her little pet, Sue. And then they get introduced to her dad, who comes in riding on what is the main transport of the island, and this is what is called a waver, and other stuff like, what I mean, like, the dials, whatever, like they use dials, yeah. However, while all this is happening, Luffy would be shocked to see Coney and her dad had little wings. Could they be descendants of Elizabeth, just like those giants might be descendants of Diane? This might be thousands of years in the future, or just a completely different world. Now, as he's thinking all of this, he doesn't really know what is the right answer, because this honestly makes no sense. It's hard to know who is really who, and if he really is still home, or just in a make-believe universe. Luffy would then be approached by Nami, who would ask why he looks so worried, but he says he's just trying to take all of this in, and they introduce themselves, and the crew is shown how things work here on Skypiea, and it's just kind of crazy. They'll be walking up clouds of stairs to the main town, and they'll be told about dials, and Luffy actually said he had one. It's how it revealed Crocodile's true nature. Well, it's much less a dial and more of a way of, yeah, it's a dial, and I stole it from a marine who came to kill me. He then lets Coney have a look at it, and the more and more she and her father wonder who these people really are, the more dangerous the thought gets, since he just said that people came to kill him. So they go to their house and get to rest and get introduced to different technologies and different dials and which waivers they use, all of that. Luffy and Sanji make some food, and while the Straw Hats eat, Coney and her father will be worried about their arrival, as it is not easy to get here so fast. They question them on this, saying they would receive divine judgment from the almighty god Eneru if, they were lying or they got here illegally, and this is when Luffy gets kind of mad. God? Eneru? Yes, he rules over Skypiea, Coney would say. Hearing this, Nami heads down with the waiver, the rider, to check on their ship since they may be fugitives now, and Luffy tells Chopper to go with her. They both go while the others stay at the house being vigilant, and as they're outside, however, the enforcers of the island would arrive, declaring the Straw Hats did in fact illegally trespass, and it shocked Coney and her father. Well, what do you want us to do? The main leader then says you have to pay a fine of 10 billion right here, right now. I refuse. The man then scoffs, telling his men to fire, and as they shoot arrows at Luffy, who lets the arrows hit them, they only shatter on his skin, but they did ruin his shirt, and that made him kind of mad. Take a little nap. Using Conqueror's Haki, he makes all the enforcers pass out, and Coney says that they can't do that as they will be subjected to heavenly judgment. Oh, really? Luffy, what are you doing? Usopp would ask. Luffy then smiles, extending his arms out into the sky, and he looks up and says, I want to see your so-called divine and final judgment, Eneru. Let's see your power. Strike me right here where I stand. This freaks out everyone, as this is when out of the sky a huge amount of lightning erupts and hits Luffy, causing an explosion. Everyone is sent flying, as when the lightning is cleared, however, it is revealed that Luffy was not affected at all. Not even close to a god level. This is crazy. Who is this Eneru guy? Zoro would ask. You're about to find out. I just located him, Luffy would say. And Coney's father says that if he really senses him, then he must be in the upper yard. Now, from here on out, we're going to do a huge time skip because God knows the Skypiea arc is way too long and I'm not covering all that shit. And everything will happen the same, but this time the enemies that the Straw Hats encounter, they will win again much faster due to their haki. And Luffy would soon be standing in front of Eneru's arc, his giant ship made of gold, and he was like literally leaving, and he saw him standing above waiting for him. So you made it here. Man, you are loaded. This ship is basically all gold, Luffy would say. Now around all this point, the citizens were in panic since they thought that their god had abandoned them. But thanks to Coney, they are convinced that Eneru is not a god, and they run to Cloud's End before they are killed. I think it's only fair for you to come down and talk to me man to man, don't you? Luffy would say to Eneru. And Eneru would say, I'll admit you're quite strong for resisting my power, but a mortal like you shouldn't compare yourself to me. He then points at Luffy and shoots a huge amount of lightning at him, only for Luffy to use second gear and leap through the blast and appear in front of Eneru with a punch. Eneru was barely able to dodge and turned into pure lightning as Luffy lands on the arc. So you're just like Ace. I'm gonna have to get a little serious. His arms goes black just as Eneru reforms, and instantly he is hit right in the face, being unable to block or dodge it. Haki? Eneru would think. Luffy's hands would then be everywhere all at once, beating down Eneru ruthlessly, and while feeling his hits land, Luffy would just be exploding with anger. Whether or not this place is really Elizabeth's, I can't allow someone like you to ruin it. His hands then stop flying around as he takes them back, and Eneru stumbles, seeing he's bleeding all over, including from his nose, his mouth, all of that, and enrages him. And so he goes into his ultimate form, using his lightning to become bigger and bigger, more terrifying as he swings his staff at Luffy, but he notices he's now gone. Hey there. Eneru then sees he's on his staff and gets sent flying with the Gum Gum kick that of course has Armament Haki infused with it. As he falls, Luffy then goes into gear 3rd, blowing up his right hand as he pulls it back and fills it with Armament Haki again. He then slams his fist into the so-called god, breaking him out of his transformation using Gum Gum Elephant Gun, and he gets more bloodied and he also loses consciousness. Eneru then gets sent flying out of the ship and at the Golden Bell nearby as Luffy appears above him with the final attack. Go to hell. He would then stretch his foot all the way up as high as he could, and with insane power would kick down Eneru with such strength that he just slams through layers and layers of cloud, landing in the sea, causing a huge eruption of water to occur. The bell then chimes and blares. We then see the Straw Hats standing over their beaten opponents, and all of Eneru's men were taken down, and that Skypiea was safe. And of course, the ruins were already found, and Luffy then thinks, I hope he can see this. Now, in a fit of happiness, Luffy would enhance his voice with magic and yell that the Golden City exists, and his words echo down to the islands near and below, and these words would reach Cricket and his brothers, who then marvel at the giant silhouette of Straw Hat Luffy in the sky. Now, all of Luffy's crewmates hear this as well, and smiling, they knew that he could do this, so they're proud. And Luffy then watches Eneru fall into the sea as he stretches arms out, and he goes back to the ship. As he lands, he then sees Nami run towards him, and they hug, and he would say, now, let's go plunder some treasure. Nami then nods and they meet the rest of the crew at the ruins, and they have a lot of food with them, which they found on Eneru's ship. Meanwhile, Nami was holding a ton of gold in a sack. Wow, we're rich, Chopper would yell, and Luffy would say, I know, right? That idiot just had a bunch of stuff lying around, so we took it. Hey Zoro, I got some sake for you. You want some? Zoro would then run over as Sanji would as well, and gladly they just, get together. And luckily, Koni's father, who in the original is thought of to be dead, is actually alive again. And soon people in Skypiea began to gather and the party began. Now it went, the party lasted until the next day, and the next day we see Shanks and Whitebeard in front of each other. It's been so long since I felt so comfortable, Whitebeard would say. Right now, the Whitebeard pirates will still be partying for their pop's recovery, and Shanks then gets some sake from Ace and chugs it down as he then asks if Luffy helped him. When Whitebeard says yes, Shanks will laugh, saying, I'm starting to think that kid might be a gift from heaven. When Ace came to me with that vial, I was kinda skeptical. Next thing I know, my armor's back. I think I'll try fighting Mihawk. It's been quite long. About Luffy, did you know he had the ability to grant youth or share life force? Cause that's what I think he did with me. If the government gets word of this, I know. Honestly, I feel like they already have, but don't worry. I have a feeling he's gonna be joining our ranks very soon. I heard his bounty went up to 1.9 billion. Ace would then be getting a newspaper, and while this conversation is happening, and we shot as he yells in excitement, and Whitebeard asks what's wrong, and he shows that the newspaper says that his little bro found the Sky Island and the City of Gold. The captains are pretty impressed as Shanks then asks about Teach, switching the subject, and Whitebeard says Ace is still chasing him down and is about to leave again. Well, I think it's time I go talk to our common friend. We should do this more often. So he jumps off his ship, landing on his own below, and they set course wherever Luffy and his crew are at last. Now the next day, when they wake up, is when Robin starts to inspect the pillars around the Golden Bell, and everyone gathers around her, and she reveals that she has the ability to somewhat decipher them. And as she would be doing so, she feels Luffy's breath on her neck and blushes, turning back to see he was looking at the glyphs as well. Can you perhaps understand these inscriptions? One of the spectators asked. Luffy then said, oh, this is talking about a war from millennia ago. Actually, more than millennia. Hearing this shocks everyone as Robin would then ask if he could really understand it, and he nodded, pointing to certain parts of the words. This part is talking about the world before ours and how it was, and this is the part talking about the two most powerful races destroying the world over a war. Can you really not read this? Because it's pretty simple. Also, what's the Void Century? Robin would then say, Luffy, this shouldn't be possible. Only someone like me can understand these words. Luffy then shrugs his shoulders, saying that that's just how he is, and then he changes the subject as he and his crew then flee with the treasure and leftover food, shocking everyone because they thought they would be so interested in the tablets, but I guess the feeling is fleeting, And then they say bye to them with the Straw Hats reaching Cloud's End, and with the help of Koni, they get an octopus parachute attached to the ship and go down slowly. And as they go down, the team then checks all of their stuff. They also got a ton of dials, like a shit ton of dials that Luffy stole off some people because, that's typical pirate nature, come on. And they kept the waiver, and now they have a ways to communicate even when they split up. And when they land, the octopus shrinks and they put it in the sea. Robin would then be trying to get Luffy to decipher more stuff that she's written down, and soon Usopp brings up the fact that they need to fix the Going Merry, and so they try to head out and find a repairman. Luffy would then say, but I want you guys to know if the Merry is going out of power and needs to be put away, we will do so. I'd rather put this ship out of misery than let it break down slowly. But for now, let's do our best to keep it running, alright? Yes, Captain, they would all yell as on their way they meet the Foxy Pirates and destroy them, not willing to play their stupid games. And then they plunder their treasure and their food, and Foxy was already scared just seeing Luffy's flag, so he did try to escape, but it didn't matter. Now, as they're leaving and saying goodbye to the old man, who is the only inhabitant of this island, they landed on, a sea creature jumps out, going to eat all of them, and Zoro unsheathes his sword, only to then see the beast freeze as it reaches them. Seeing all the frost all over the beast, the crew gets on guard as a man lands in front of them from the nose of the Sea King, and this person would be Kuzan, or Aokiji, whatever you want to call him. And Robin gets back in fear as Luffy would ask her what's wrong. Guys, we need to leave. He's a high-ranking official. I don't think even you can beat him, Luffy. Kuzan, however, then cracks his neck, saying he's not here to fight. You know how to use hockey better than me. If I tried anything, I would be dead before I realized. That's not the only reason, Luffy would say, as Kuzan then thinks, is this kid really only 17? The pressure he exudes. I'll just get to the point. He then tells Luffy and his crew that they're being regarded as close to Yonko level pirates, and they don't know that what a Yonko is, so he explains what it is to be a Yonko. Usopp would then say, Luffy, you're gonna get us killed. And Usopp and Zoro would say that they all knew what they were getting into. I mean, they're being freaking pirates, and they knew what they signed up for. And this made Usopp shut up as he wanted to show his pride as a pirate and the warrior of the sea, blah blah blah. And Luffy then says, if that's all you wanted to say, you can leave now, and I'm not asking. Kuzan then feels the conqueror spirit from him, and he sweats as he then says that he'll leave, but he says, but I want you to know, Robin will only bring you trouble. He then leaves, shattering the Sea King as he creates an ice path while he runs away on water, and the crew stays at the island for a bit and then, goes to leave. But then Luffy says, guys, I think we should stay here. Why though? We still have to find a repairman for Mary. And Luffy would say because apparently they're currently too weak. I mean, Luffy's strong enough, but they are too weak, and they need to get strong, and he plans to push them to the absolute limit. And now that they have this wide island, they can just go crazy. And Zoro and Sanji love the challenge as they take a stop here. Now everyone has different things to work on. Chopper starts working on his different points, aka transformation. Zoro increases his swiftness, the swiftness of his strikes. Usopp increases his perception and works on his observation haki. Sanji works on a new style of attacks and increases his leg strength. Nami works on her new weapon made by Usopp and learns some assassin techniques from Luffy. As for Luffy, since his physical attributes are already top tier and above it, he has never really had the need to fully exert it, so he only works on haki, and he uses a method from his time to increase his magic, and thus he can learn to direct his powers in a better way. Now the crew stays at the island for exactly 2 weeks in total, pushing each other to the absolute limit as far as they can, and Chopper develops the Kung Fu point, and his armament is stronger, as is his observation haki, and this is mostly due to Luffy's ability to lend others strength, his strength, and Zoro is more strong and easily able to strike through steel even without haki, but when he uses haki, he's a monster level, like swordsman. By using his observation haki, he learns to predict moves as well to a certain degree, and Sanji can now kick so hard that his legs just catch on fire, and he also increases armament and observation as well. He can also move very fast now, and Nami has gotten a new move she likes to call Strike, where she uses her climb attack to gather atmospheric pressure in the air to create lightning, which she then infuses into her arms and body, and by using armament to coat herself, she feels no pain, and this increases the power of her punches. So if you get punched by her, you will get shocked massively. She can also just flow the lightning through the climb attack and fight with it, and as such, Luffy taught her how to use bow arts, and she's pretty good now. Then another week passed, and Robin finally got some haki herself and started training seriously, so she cannot use observation, and with this she can knock out people from very far using her devil fruit ability, but she can't use armament. Luffy also teaches her how to fight, and he thinks that everyone needs to learn how to, because they just need to. They can't just rely on their devil fruits. And she learns how to fight and has some strength, but is the weakest when it comes to, physical strength. But they're all really good at fighting. They're pretty top tier. Now, soon when the week came to an end, the group would gather up in a circle as Luffy then says, so, it's time to go find a repairman. Also, we stink. Yeah, let's just talk after we wash off, and Robin, don't worry about that guy, you're still part of our crew, Nami would say. Thank you, she would then say as everyone takes a shower and changes into some clothes that they stole from the Foxy Pirates, or the Fox Pirates, whatever the hell they are, and their crew says goodbye to the old man and go to leave. On the way, Nami and Robin will be talking about where they should head to, and Luffy will be sitting on the Mary's head when he sees a certain ship and his eyes widen. Stop the ship. Usopp does so as they see the red-haired pirate ship, and the ship gets closer and closer, with Luffy telling everyone they can calm down, and when the ship is close enough, someone lands behind Luffy on the ship. Hey Luffy, Shanks would say, as Luffy then cheers up and jumps hugging Shanks as he said he missed him so much, and Zoro says it's really him. Red-haired Shanks, he's one of the best swordsmen. By instinct, Zoro is already ready to fight and starts to unsheath his sword, and Shanks notices this but only smiles at him, making him uneasy. So, you're Luffy's crew, huh? Glad to see he's doing a good job with you guys. Luffy then stops hugging him as they say that they just came back from training only to be, pushed aside Luffy was legit in like the middle of a sentence, and Usopp just pushed him aside, being more interested in seeing his father. And Shanks says that Yasopp is here, and without waiting, Usopp uses armament hockey to enhance himself and jumps onto the ship to see his dad gambling with some crew members. And Yasopp notices him but doesn't know what to say as he tries to say something, but he's just hugged by his son, and Usopp says that he's just happy to see him. Now, the two crews have a bit of like a little gathering, and Luffy is drinking with Shanks, and they have an awesome time. And Shanks then thanks Luffy for bringing back his arm, and they form an alliance. And because he did this, Shanks also is allied with Whitebeard pirates now. And they be talking, about some stuff, when Shanks would say, "So, undead Luffy, what were you going to tell me about that ability?" Eventually, I thought you'd freak out, but here it is. I can't die, I'm immortal. Shanks is surprised to hear that because he thought it was just really like he had really quick regeneration. And this makes him feel somewhat mad as he wishes Luffy was born in their area, like their era, was born earlier so he could have helped Roger with this sickness. "I'm sorry, but my powers don't work that way," Luffy would say. "I can only grant my life force to those who are still alive. I would have loved to meet him though." Roger, what was he like? Shanks then talks about his captain, and Luffy just starts looking up to the man more and more, and he's happy that he brought Ace into this world because the way that he had to do so was so harsh but so inspirational, and it was just dope. Now the party soon ended with Luffy being the last one on the ship. Before he left, he turned to Shanks saying, "So, you don't want the hat back or anything?" Shanks said he can keep it until he beats him, and Luffy smiles before he then gets serious and tells Shanks that soon he's gonna do something dangerous. He feels like he is, and he should be ready for it. "Well, I never thought you were just gonna relax, but just don't go too far." Luffy then nods and jumps off the ship, and they head to find a shipwright. As the day passes, they are already pretty far out, and Luffy is being his usual self and goofing off with Usopp and Chopper, and everyone notices a humanoid frog swimming really fast by their ship. Only in the Grand Line is this considered normal, Sanji would say, as they're just weirded out, and they wonder why he or she is in such a hurry, and this is when they almost got hit by a literal sea train, but then they get out of the way in time. But as they do though, they see the frog from before in front of the train not wanting to budge. He then gets hit by the train, and the Straw Hats are kind of shocked, and they see the train leave, and they see a train station in the middle of the sea, and they approach it. And they see an old woman and a kid who at first are worried because they're pirates, but relax after seeing they're not intent on killing them. With Kokoro, the old woman, recognizing Luffy's bounty, and Kimi, the little girl who was holding her cat. And they're good people, and they tell them that the train was called the Puffing Tom, and their frog likes to challenge it almost all the time for some reason, and he's honestly really tough, so he's probably still alive. Luffy thinks this is really kind of cool and asks the lady about a place where they can find a shipwright, and where they're told to go to Water 7, aka the City of Water. They do so. Now while they head to the city, Usopp patches up Mary once again, and pretty soon they see land, and it is amazing, being truly befitting of his name. It's literally just the City of Water. A nice man tells them where to go dock and anchor, and they enter the city being happy that they won't be chased out for being pirates. This place is just kind of chill, and Nami also takes part of their treasure and wants to turn it into actual berries. When she, Luffy, and Usopp head out, however, Zoro and Sanji stay on the ship, and Robin does leave, but Gozen does her own thing, and Chopper follows. So the others start riding down the fun roads, the city. It's literally like an amusement park, and they're just basically water slides, and they're riding on seahorses. And as they're going down, this is when Luffy unlocks a new ability for observation hockey and sees into the future that the animal he is riding will speed up, and it does. At first he thinks it's just a coincidence, but then they stop the ride, and he sees in the future that a strange boat would pass by, and it does, shocking him. Wow, this is the next level? Now as Zoro and Sanji will be on the back on the ship just chilling, they're attacked by the Franky family, but they dispatch them with ease, sending them back into the sea. They don't kill them though, but they just beat their asses. As for Nami, Usopp, and Luffy, when they meet Kaku, who is aware of who they are, and after listening to the request, of course, he heads off to fix the ship, as he be running from rooftop to rooftop, and this is what he will be thinking. Who would have thought that of all people he would be here? I better just finish quickly so I don't get killed. So as Kaku makes it to the ship, he sees Zoro waiting for him with his sword out, asking if he was an enemy, to which he says no. "I was sent here by your friends to fix your ship." Zoro then puts away his sword, being mad that Sanji actually left after they beat the Franky family, just because he was bored, because he wanted to go see Nami or Robin or both. Now back in the City of Water, Iceberg along with his assistant would have just met Straw Hat Luffy himself and was actually shaking his hand. For such a young man, I thought he'd be more arrogant. I guess you really can't trust the rumors. So they stop shaking hands and they tell Iceberg how long it took to get here, and they just want a permanent shipwright on their crew, or at least fix their ship for now, but they're planning on staying for a while. I thought you'd be more shocked to see one of the strongest pirates here, but you're surprisingly calm, Nami would say. Iceberg then says that he is surprised, but he did think that Luffy was gonna kill him, making Usopp laugh, because Luffy is nothing like that, like the rumors say, but he's surprised that Luffy is way more mature. And Usopp would say, trust me, we just want our ship repaired, and since one of your guys is already out to do it, can't we just pay you right now? Iceberg then says, sure, as Nami and Luffy are surprised to see that Usopp is carrying out a conversation with so much charisma, and this is because Usopp has gotten stronger and he's become more confident and more fearless. He's still prone to lying, but he is more brave now, especially since no one scares him as much as his captain, Luffy, and he met his father, so feeling very happy and glad, he just has that charisma, Now this time the Franky family wouldn't steal their money as they realize who they are, and even if they try to steal it from Usopp this time, he probably kicked their ass. And they're currently in hiding, and they're trying to stay hidden, but not Franky. And as their leader, out of revenge, he wants to go beat up the Straw Hats because they beat up his brothers. So Iceberg, wanting to build a good relationship with Luffy, want to show him around, and they get introduced to Paul and Rob Lucci, who likes to let his pigeon talk for him. They see the first dock of the city and are amazed, but then Kaku comes back saying that he can't fix their ship, which breaks Usopp's heart, but Luffy says they have to change ships now. Luffy, how could you? Usopp would say, as Luffy then says, I told you this would happen. I don't want our ship to suffer just because I'm a selfish captain. Usopp then gets quiet as he understands what he means, and Luffy, well, both, honestly, remembers that, how they used to care about his captain's boar, and how much he and the other Sins, Hawk and Elizabeth, tried to protect it, so it honestly pains him as well. So he says, we'll pay for a new ship instead, but we'll be keeping the Going Merry with it. We have enough money. Usopp then gets happy hearing this as he hugs his captain, with Nami saying that he may be a selfish captain after all. I guess so. Now before they make their ship, Iceberg says that if they want a permanent crewmate, then he suggests they find someone named Franky, and this shocks Paul and the others as they're just a bunch of bandits. And this makes Luffy laugh as he says that they won't be paying for now, he's gonna go see the Franky guy. So Iceberg tells them where Franky's base is, and we cut to Franky in his hideout as his men will be trying to hold him back. Let go, those bastards are gonna pay. The others would then say, well, to be fair, boss, we did attack them first, and Franky says he doesn't give a damn about that. And this is when their door be just broken as Luffy walks in alone. So you're Franky. Iceberg told me to find you. Now all the other Franky members back away with Franky spewing fire at Luffy, but he simply swipes it away, saying, is that a devil fruit or is that all natural like me? Franky then yells saying that he has no devil fruit, and he deploys his arm sending it at Luffy, who dodges to the side with ease, and Franky pulls back the arm to grab him, but he ducks down as he is now in front of Franky, who is scared. So what now, you're gonna kill me? Luffy then falls and sits down cross-legged, asking him if he wanted to join his crew, and the Franky family was just kind of shocked that the infamous undead Luffy was asking their boss to join him. Why the hell would you want me? Because from what I've heard, you're the best shipwright. Now Franky scoffs at this, and we cut to the next day, and rumors start to circulate about Nico Robin and some masked men, and this is bad news, as the next day the Straw Hats can't find her and they're kind of on the run. Franky didn't agree to join Luffy, but he found it interesting, with them squashing the little beef they had since no one was hurt, but everything goes terrible the next day, obviously. Luffy is blamed for Robin's actions as he and Nami are out in town, and this leads to a fight between him and the other shipwrights, including Franky, who found his house destroyed this morning. Of course, Luffy is only dodging, trying to say that Robin must be getting manipulated or something, and that he definitely did not destroy Franky's house. Why would I blow up your home after trying to make you part of my crew? He then slaps Franky, who was coming at him, sending him flying, with the surrounding citizens being afraid of Luffy despite him saying that he did not do it. The fast shipwright named Kaku tries to catch him off guard and kicks him at incredible speed, only for him to have his legs swiped away, and he just flies, just cratering into the ground before getting back up. And then Paul attacks with rope and binds Luffy, asking why his mates would hurt Iceberg, and Rob comes in with the kick, and Luffy would say, I've had enough. Rob then feels this pressure hit him as Luffy releases all his conqueror spirit, and he doesn't knock out anyone, but he makes it hard for them to move, as he then yells that someone is setting them up, and him and his crew up. And this scene is familiar to his old life, and he knows that nothing will be fixed unless he finds out the truth, so for now, he runs. But everyone at this point is still searching for him, so like I said, they're on the run. He keeps him and Nami safe while trying to also find Robin, and they meet Chopper, Sanji, Usopp, and Zoro, who say that they met Robin, who says she needs to leave the crew, and Luffy realizes what's going on. A government official or something from the Marines is involved. Sanji, who will be seething at this point, swears that whoever is forcing Robin to do this will pay, and Luffy would say her situation isn't good though. I guess we're on the run. This is not a good feeling. Wait, what are they gonna do to Mary? Not that they're our enemy, Usopp would say. And once they realize how bad things could get, they decide to go start looking for Robin right away. Soon a day passes, and then the next day, Luffy tells everyone to distract people while he goes to meet Iceberg and hopefully find out more about Robin, what's going on. And using Gear Second, he moves so fast and appears just in time, and he breaks through the window of Iceberg's room to see Robin holding him at gunpoint. Iceberg looks back shocked as Robin, who tries to leave. Iceberg then looks back shocked as Robin tries to leave, but Luffy appears in front of her asking her to stop. Please restrain her. Her knowledge, it could destroy the world, Iceberg would say, as Luffy then gets mad, yelling, so could mine. Robin's face then turns to one of worry as 4 masked people enter, taking off their masks to reveal that they were working with Iceberg the entire time, but it was all an act. Iceberg doesn't really know what to say, but Luffy could give less of a fuck about them and asks Robin why she did what she did. As he asked this, Luffy then feels a grip on his shoulder as he looks back to see Rob Lucci in his animal form barely being able to fit in the room. If you get in our way, we've been getting orders to kill if necessary. Kaku then says, come peacefully. You might be strong, but against Rob and all of us, you stand no chance. That's what you think. Rob then takes this as a sign of him starting a fight as he squeezes the shoulder with all his strength but finds some resistance as a stare down begins between the two, and Luffy grabs his hand and takes it off as he enters Gear Second and punches him so fast that he couldn't even see it. He goes slamming through a wall to another room, and Luffy would follow him, making Bluno say, what an idiot, I thought he was here to save you or something. Now as he says this is when Bluno was hit and sent flying by something invisible, and Zoro arrives, cutting up a way for him, Nami, Chopper, and Usopp to come through. That's because he knew we were coming, genius, Usopp would say. Bluno then gets up with his nose bleeding as he was hit by a dial impact coming from Usopp, and he would say, I guess we underestimated you. So why is Robin doing all this when it's obvious that Luffy can protect her, and what will the world government do after this incident, since the Straw Hats are already way too notorious right now? Find out in the upcoming parts. It's been me, Prince of What Ifs, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.